Every month, 650 Rand leaves my bank account. That is what I pay Rain for what they call unlimited 5G home internet. Some months, the connection barely holds together. Some months,
Hey.
it does not work at all. I am one customer out of thousands. But when I started looking into this, I found the same story again and again. On Hello Peter, on Trustpilot, in South African news reports, going back years. This is not one bad month. This is a pattern. And once you see the pattern, you start asking harder questions about what Rain is actually selling and whether they can actually deliver it. Rain has close to 2,000 reviews on Trustpilot and thousands more on Hello Peter. Read enough of them, and the same few problems keep showing up. People write about routers that stop connecting for days at a time, with no warning and no explanation.
Rain is slow. There is no 5G in Africa. Hello?
People write about paying for 5G speeds and getting quietly switched to a slower 4G signal instead at the same price. People write about calling or messaging for help and getting one templated reply, then nothing. On Hello Peter, customers describe going through entire billing cycles with no working internet at all, while the monthly debit order still goes through in full. Others describe being billed even after they believe their account was already cancelled. A number of reviewers use a harder word for all of this. They call it a scam. That is a serious word, and I am not using it lightly. But when the same complaint shows up hundreds of times from different people in different cities using different words to describe the same experience, it stops looking like bad luck. It starts looking like how the business is actually run. Rain built its name on being South Africa's first 5G network, and that part is true. But 5G is not one single thing that works the same way everywhere. Rain owns a little over 3,000 of its own towers. To fill in the gaps, it rents space on towers that belong to Vodacom and MTN, two of its biggest competitors. The fast, standalone 5G that Rain advertises is only switched on in pockets of major cities, mostly around Johannesburg, Pretoria, and Cape Town. Step outside those pockets and your device quietly drops down to 4G or slower while you keep paying the 5G price. This is not a new complaint, and it is not just something angry customers made up. Back in August 2020, South Africa's own advertising regulator ordered Rain to stop claiming unlimited 5G 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, after a wave of public complaints that the claim was not true. That ruling is now several years old. Some of this connects to a bigger story about where Rain sits in the industry. In 2022, Rain tried to merge with Telkom.
As we looked at it, Telkom to us is it's been very successful building its mobile business. We've been very successful building our 5G business. Logically, Telkom's got a lot of infrastructure we don't have, so it's very complementary to us and to them. So at this current stage, what we've done is that we're making a proposal to the Telkom board to look at a merger and to look at the business cases to make that business case stack up. If both parties can't find that business case doesn't stack up, then there won't be a merger.
Rain wanted Telkom to buy it in exchange for new Telkom shares, arguing that the combined company could become a real third competitor against Vodacom and MTN, instead of Rain staying the smallest player in the market. Early on, a government body called the Takeover Regulation Panel, whose job is to make sure company deals follow disclosure rules, forced Rain to withdraw an announcement it had published too early. A formal, non-binding proposal followed in September of that year. By January 2023, Telkom and Rain jointly announced that talks were over before either side had even done due diligence on the deal. Telkom's own statement to shareholders said only that the transaction was not possible at that time. What that means for customers today is simple. Rain stayed a small, independent operator without the deeper infrastructure budget that a tie-up with Telkom could have brought. The tower gaps and the customers stuck on overloaded 4G signal because there is no 5G tower nearby are, at least in part, a direct result of that failed deal. Try to get Rain on the phone and you will notice something right away. When customers do get a reply, it is almost always the same short message.
Thanks for the feedback. We are sorry your experience has not been what you expected. Please send us your account details and we will get on this as soon as possible.
Then, in review after review, customers say that reply is the last thing they ever hear. No follow-up call, no fix, no refund, just silence, while the monthly debit order keeps going through on schedule. Cancelling makes the whole picture even clearer. Rain has no long-term contract and no official cancellation fee. On the surface, that sounds simple and fair. In practice, it is not. Your cancellation only takes effect on your next billing date, not on the day you actually ask to leave. So, if you cancel partway through a cycle, you are still charged for that entire month. Then, there is the router. Under Rain's own published terms, you remain responsible for paying your subscription fee until the router has been physically returned to Rain in good condition. Miss the 7-day return window, and Rain can charge a late fee of 250 Rand a month or bill you the full replacement cost of the device instead. So a customer who cancels because the service simply does not work can end up paying for weeks, sometimes months, longer, simply waiting on a courier to collect a router that Rain has not made easy to return. Layer all of that on top of a service that keeps raising its price. Rain's home internet package started at around 550 Rand a month a few years ago. It has since climbed past 600, then past 650, with each increase usually explained the same way, due to inflation. Put it all together, a network that quietly downgrades your speed without telling you. Support that answers once with a template and then disappears. A cancellation process that keeps billing you long after you have already stopped receiving service. None of this, taken piece by piece, proves that Rain set out from day one to trick people. But taken together, it is exactly the pattern that leads so many paying customers to describe this whole operation using one blunt word: a scam. I pay my bill every month, the same as thousands of other South Africans still on this network. What I want is not complicated. I want the network I am already paying for, or at the very least, an honest answer about why I am not getting it.